Hello, David. Tell me now. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm David Layton, and president of W.I.T.I, Women in Technology International.
And welcome to San Jose.
Thank you.
For this conference this year, do we have a theme or a focus for this conference?
The theme is innovation, inspiration, and inclusion.
Now, I'm told that this is your 30th year.
Well, it's the 30th anniversary of W.I.T.I, when we started W.I.T.I. We had the first summit 5 years into it, so it's the 25th annual summit.
And tell me about this person whose idea it was to start W.I.T.I.
Well, Carolyn, my mom, got the idea. I started working with her when I was in college for a year, and we had a research executive search company. Mostly work with Silicon Valley companies, although we're based in LA.
All right.
And a few years into it in '89, she was meeting with many of our female clients. They just kind of kept sharing the story.
What was Carol's background as far as work?
She had a teaching background.
Oh.
She started few companies in the executive search and research space, and kind of helping companies identify people with different core competencies.
And was seeing a lack of women as candidates?
She was seeing some lack of women. I don't know that she was kind of looking.
Focusing on it. It just popped up.
But I think what popped up was really the women that she had formed relationships with that were our client companies like Hughes and Hewlett-Packard Labs and stuff like that. They were sharing stories with her, just how they really weren't being listened to, and there was a real opportunity for them. And meanwhile, these women are like PhD in physics, they're just off the charts.
But not being taken seriously at their place of work.
Right, and so not only was it not good for them, but the companies were just losing out on this brain trust that they had that they weren't capitalizing on.
So Carol had this wonderful idea to build what we now use the term ecosystem of women.
Yes. Yeah. She wanted to create this, global community. People were just starting to use email back then, so she wanted to create a resource so they can get any connection, resource, piece of information they need to get whatever they want. And then at the same time, just really help companies understand, don't help the women, understand the business value.
There you are.
And then if you do that, they're going to be trying to get all the women, So that's really, I think it's creating environments. You and I might have the same problem that comes up. You might solve it one way, I might solve it a different way.
And with today's technology, it's great. We can reach out to each other and have these conversations, as you mentioned, globally.
Absolutely.
We can collaborate. We can support each other.
Yes.
So in W.I.T.I, what is it that you want people to know in preface of coming to your conference?
Yeah. No, I think, coming to our conference, coming to our events, we have W.I.T.I networks throughout the U.S., internationally, that when they get there, it's an opportunity to build great long-lasting relationships, build your brand, get connections. When you come to a W.I.T.I event, we don't allow cliques. No one stands alone is one of our policies under our code of ethics. And just everybody's welcome, so we can help them, support them in whatever they want to do.
And we're including men in that group. We're inclusive, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And men are always welcome to W.I.T.I events. And we have many men that have participated on our board as part of W.I.T.I in different communities. And, it's a human thing. I don't think it's a man or woman thing. I think the way companies, if we look back to when companies were built, it was all kind of based on how I work.
Got it.
And then we created a structure. We'd have a head person, under them with this, right?
Well, once the workforce changes.
Yeah, and then as you bring women into it, it's like, if I'm expecting you to do the way I work, I'm only getting 60% of what you have to offer, if that, and I'm not letting you be authentic in how you work, and then that's hurting my business.
You're not getting that full.
So that's right. So that's really behind what we're doing, is helping companies understand it's not, again, about some diversity initiative to put X amount of people in, or to help the poor women, but to understand this is an opportunity to
the landscape of what it means.
More engaged employees and making more money. When they hear more money, then they're interested.
So are you working with varying degrees of industries, or is there one particular one that sort of jumps out?
You know, we work pretty much, it was all in tech. We first started W.I.T.I. We're working down in LA with, down there was kind of defense, aerospace, and entertainment. Up here was a lot of different semiconductor software. And then, excuse me, and then in '97 we did a deal with IDG where we had our we developed a magazine with them that went quarterly into Info World, Computer World, and Network World. So that kind of pushed us into the IT departments of all of these different industries. And then the web browser had just come out, but was finally really being used in the late '90s. So then we started seeing people, other than the IT people, were reaching through our RDG partnership.
Got it.
Yeah, so now it's really, W.I.T.I's for people in marketing, sales, software architects, whatever they do.
Okay.
And men, if I said women before. W.I.T.I is welcoming and all about business. And if you come to a W.I.T.I event and you want to be in a clique, or you want to not help the person next to you, we have a few other organizations we've met over the years we could refer you to.
There you are. Okay. So now tell me, in relation to education, is there an aspect to educational ideas or a focus with W.I.T.I?
Certainly we have, we have some programs,
you reach
many
out
in
maybe to some institutions that are
we have partnerships with like Carnegie Mellon and UCLA and McGill, University in Canada. Forbes School of Business is a great partnership.
Okay.
So a lot of these, we're working with them, with the educational institutions. We do have a couple of programs that will be announced soon on women's leadership.
I look forward to it.
Leading in inclusive environments and that type of thing. So those are coming soon. Stuff I can't really talk about now, but
But we got a little tidbit from you on that.
Taste.
But now, is there anything that you would want us to know in relation to W.I.T.I and what you have, not so much some of the little secrets that are coming out that are yet to be announced, but what is it that you want us who are attending, who are in place, to know about W.I.T.I, to take it full advantage of? Is there a particular conference or breakout session this season?
No, I think, first of all, our Hall of Fame tomorrow is amazing. Something we are launching at the conference is Mini W.I.T.I, and that's for girls K through 8. And then we have programs for high school girls and other things. We're doing some really exciting things at miniwitty.com. We'll have, you'll see us at CES, you'll see us at Mobile World Congress. We really try to create relationships to give all of our members, men or women, access to speak at these conferences, to get connections, so that they can make more money.
I was just at, which was the most extraordinary event for me, was Display Week. Are you familiar with them?
I've heard of them.
I will definitely pass your info along to them because it had everything to do with whatever screens are coming in relation to either your devices, cars, neon sign. It was extraordinary. I was walking around I was amazed because this is a whole industry I knew nothing about. And we all use our phones and our tablets and that whole thing. So the display, yes, there is an industry there. I think that would be a great collaboration because it was really extraordinary. And to have young people. They have
some type of women program.
They had a Women in Tech talk. They had a small talk. It was later in the evening during one of the days. But yes, most definitely.
I heard about that. I'd love
it's all about. It's all about finding out because we all can't be everywhere. We'd like to, but in today's world, let's see what we can do. Well, David, thank you so very much for your time.
I appreciate it.
And I
look forward to the conference.
I look forward to it.
Be here and some great stuff going on.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you and your community.
Well, thank you for coming to San Jose.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.
We are obviously going to be continuing to support women for sure. but we are also expanding and bringing, making sure that men are part of that conversation.
Well, it's inclusive means inclusive.
Exactly.
With everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, in relation to this bill,
Yeah.
Was this earlier this year or last year?
I believe it was last year, but I think that's what the senator will probably be able to tell you more.
All righty.
But what I just wanted to share with you was the context of, again,
In relation to
in
women
relation
in technology.
to women in technology, and so for us, it's now, how do we work with the organizations and train the women so that they can have a role, or a seat on the board.
Absolutely.
So,
now, tell me now, in relation to the conference that we're having today, what other organizations is W.I.T.I supporting or a part of? Other conferences, do you have a place in other conferences as far as showing up and being present?
Yeah, I mean, we have a long list of organizations that we work with, and it could be, AI World, Artificial Intelligence World, for example, or the Robotics Summit. So we also were, I think, in a couple of the media-related events. So it all depends on, which organizations are putting emphasis on having, a gender-inclusive culture, or supporting more women to be in the,
in whatever
industry they are. Correct.
Healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare
military,
for sure. Yeah, we were in W.I.T.I World a few months back.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's really about collaboration, and W.I.T.I, we have about 70 plus networks globally.
That's networks. That's not. Yeah.
That's networks, and then we have about 300 corporate members that we work with, and about 3 million professionals within an ecosystem. Yes.
Because I was going to ask you about membership numbers. So we're talking 3 million?
3 million in the ecosystem. So that includes, membership, sponsors. There's like a whole bunch. So no, and we celebrated 30 years. Last year?
Oh, last year.
As an organization.
Wonderful.
This year we are celebrating 25th anniversary of the summit. So, and Carolyn Layton, she's absolutely phenomenal, and
she's primarily our founder and
is the
force
founder,
to be reckoned with.
She is the force, and she's definitely the reason why we
this
have
all came
this.
about.
Absolutely, and you should absolutely talk to her. She's just.
Do we have an agenda or a focus this year, particularly, as far as is there a subject matter that we want to touch on this year?
So I think there's one of the major one, obviously, because the senator is here, is how do you get more women on boards, and gender inclusivity. I think those are the two core thing that's really important to us.
All right. Well, thank you. And say your name again for us.
I'm Parna. I'm the person leading marketing for W.I.T.I.
For W.I.T.I. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the W.I.T.I Conference for 2019.
Delighted to be here.
And please introduce yourself to us.
Certainly. I am State Senator Hannah Beth Jackson. I represent the 19th State Senate District, which is all of Santa Barbara County and all of western Ventura County, the most beautiful spot and place in California, perhaps the country and world.
And it's all of beautiful California itself.
Absolutely.
So tell me now, this morning, Senator, in relation to this fabulous bill that came about last year, was it?
Correct. The bill passed, became effective, actually becomes effective January 1st in 2019. But we did pass the bill last year.
And give us a little detail about this bill. The name
this
of
is SB 826, and it's a bill that requires that companies that are headquartered in California that are publicly traded. So we're looking at the larger companies that are headquartered in the state of California are now going to be required to have women on their corporate boards. So if it's a board of 5 or fewer, we're going to have one
at
woman.
Least one.
At least one. And if it's a board of 6 or more, we're going to have at least 3. So we're looking to create that critical mass.
Excellent.
And we did this bill because back in 2013, I introduced a resolution, which is where you just simply urge these companies to add more women on their corporate boards.
And of course, it fell on deaf ears.
It certainly did. We were at about 15.5% of all corporate board seats in these companies in California. 15.5% were held by women. By the time we got to 2018, we had moved the needle all the way from 15.5% to 16%. So clearly, we were not making progress.
And the numbers belie the fact that women are over 60% of the workforce.
Well, that is a number I hear these days, but we are at least 70% of the purchasers of those goods and services.
Absolutely.
And that reason alone should be sufficient as to why we need women on corporate boards. When you're creating a product or a service, 70% of the people using that are women.
And having an impact in our society.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And therefore, as women, the decision makers in most households, we need to be able to say, with our dollars, and again now in these positions on boards, in C-suites, say, hey, let's have a look at where women's issues matter within society.
Well, they matter, of course, in the products that we purchase, in whether or not we are being socially responsible. It also matters in our own workforce.
Got it.
Are the women who work in these companies, are they being recognized, many of them, the challenges associated with being either the primary breadwinner, the sole breadwinner, or at the very least their incomes are necessary for a family to make ends meet.
Even when it's a two-income household.
Oh, absolutely.
That income, if she's not getting that full dollar for her time and effort, that's really having an impact. And we're seeing that pressure.
Well, we're seeing in the state of California alone, I did the bill on equal pay actually in 2015, so I know these numbers pretty well.
Got it.
We estimate that we lose over $60 billion a year in California alone, money that's literally left on the table because women are not being paid the same amount for substantially similar work. And with that, that's money that would go back into our local economies, that would go for the goods and services that help generate the success and the productivity of our society. So we are clearly needing to give women equal opportunity, equal pay, and certainly address the fact that in today's world, we are seeing more and more women in the workplace. What do we do about our families?
Clearly.
And that is something when we get more women on these corporate boards, whether they are women who themselves have children, or we know that women are the primary caregivers, whether it's to their children or as their parents.
Elderly.
So this is something that when you bring that experience to the table, to the C-suite, we can start making the kind of changes that reflect the 21st century economy, the 21st century workplace, and the 21st century values. We're seeing a lot more younger men wanting to participate at greater levels in the raising of their own children.
You know, conferences like this, events like this, how important do you feel that's for you, people in positions, politics, business, executives, to come out to these types of events and make themselves known to the attendees?
Well, I think it's important because what we find is that there is a sort of an energy, a synergy.
There you are.
When you get people in a room who observe the same things, who share a lot of the same feelings, who have ideas and innovative ways at looking at things. This is not the same world that I grew up in.
There you are.
This is not every generation has different issues.
Even within 10 years.
Absolutely. Well, with technology today, we've got to figure out a better way to do this, to be more responsive to the needs that have been created by technology, the needs as we see this income disparity, which has really created challenges for our society as a whole, and how we're going to raise the next generation of children to be good human beings and to make sure that we preserve this planet, which right now is also at risk.
Excellent. Well, thank you so very much for your time and your service to us all.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you so much for being here with us. Please introduce yourself to us.
My name is Renee Redwood. I'm the CEO of Redwood Enterprise. We're a consulting practice based in Washington, D.C. We do work around systems and strategies to abate the barriers and mitigate the risk for both individuals as well as institutions.
Alrighty. Now tell me, how did you get here to San Jose for the W.I.T.I 2019 convention?
I got involved with the Women in Technology International after heading the Presidential Glass Ceiling Commission.
No, tell us about that.
The Civil Rights Act of 1991 established a 21-member bipartisan commission to look at the barriers that impede the advancement of women and minorities.
Wow.
At the time, the legislation required us to do a fact-finding as well as put forward a series of recommendations, primarily looking at 3 types of barriers. Societal barriers, which deal with things like stereotype and biasing.
Got it.
The role of the media on whether it is actually reporting or is it seeking to shape
Got
the news.
it. Okay.
We looked at institutional barriers, lack of rotational assignments, education, and even though we might have educational attainment equivalent to white males, we find that women
Still
and
fall
people
short.
of color still have to do twice as much in order to be recognized and valued. And then the third level of barriers is what's known as governmental barriers, and those deal with the ability to look at data,
Got it.
the ability to enforce existing laws and policies on the books. And when we actually begin to think about what that means, there are many laws that we already had that begin to address areas of equity and parity, but because they're not enforced consistently,
Truly.
institutions try to get away with what they can.
Or just ignore them.
Absolutely.
Which is easy to do when we don't know our rights.
Absolutely.
As things have progressed and have changed and morphed here in these, years, not everyone's aware of what is available to them as
That's right.
a means by which to say, hey, I can actually make a difference here, or I can stand up at my place of work and lodge a complaint without having backlash.
Right. Having retaliatory behavior. And I got connected with W.I.T.I when we released the recommendation report because the law required that we put forward recommendations, but not that we would monitor implementation. Women in Technology International said that they wanted to take a role in the implementation, particularly in
Fantastic.
the in the technology.
They want to step up to the plate.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, we'll lock arms with you
Absolutely.
and push this forward.
Move it forward within their span of control, which was really accessing and talking with women globally around technology. Where are women in technology? What's their voice? Are they at the table? If they're at the table, are they equally at the table? Because oftentimes women get invited and then are expected to be silent.
But you're dismissed. In these roles. So tell me, in relation to that particular work that you've done, have you seen, how long ago was that?
That was the Civil Rights Act of 1991. Our recommendation reports were released in 1995 to comport with the law. Since then, the recommendations have been used to underwrite much of the diversity and inclusion framework that we now talk about.
Alrighty.
Because back in the 90s, people were just getting used to the term glass ceiling. What did it mean? Right? And so now it basically has underpinned the protocols that we identified, the pathways that we identified are actually starting, 25 years? Right. Starting to be put in place.
And now that we have women, albeit few, we have women in positions to make decisions.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you could have a great position in a company, but can you determine someone's future or your own?
That's right.
That is where we are I still believe we're at the very beginning of that kind of power and also knowledge.
Absolutely.
For our young people. That's very important to understand. Take that job. Go for it. Because if you can have an impact not only within your own community, but it may.
Right. It ripples. Right. So what we talk of your span of control and your sphere of influence.
Exactly.
As you said, it's a ripple. You drop a pebble.
And now, as we
in the
use
water,
the term ecosystem,
absolutely,
we don't know how large our ecosystem can be. So this type of organization and others make it possible. Again, I am really thrilled to meet you because I find that the more women who come forward to tell us the type of work that they're doing, it's encouraging and it's fantastic. I had just mentioned that a couple of weeks back I attended an event at the LinkedIn office in San Francisco. It's called Seat at the Table.
Yes.
Wonderful woman started this a few years ago, Martina Lachengo. She's at Costa Nova Ventures. She's a venture capitalist, one of our few women venture capitalists. And it was about the fact that the idea started with her having a conversation with a recruiter, a woman recruiter, who quite honestly was finding that there were no women candidates, never mind the fact that they weren't getting the jobs. They weren't even applying for jobs. Product designer, engineering, such and such. And so the question was, why do we have to keep talking about it? When are we going to stand up and do something or demand changes?
Right, take action. Some of the notion around power is recognizing our own power.
True.
And taking it and not waiting for someone to offer it or give it to us, but to step into it with a boldness, right?
I find that again, with a conference like this, another conference that I attend is Watermark for women. And I mention that one all the time, and it turns out Watermark, which I used to attend years ago, and now is having a wonderful impact as well. It has several conferences throughout North America. So I find that it's important for us to get together at these different events, chit chat, talk to each other, and absolutely walk up and say, this is who I am, what can I do, depending on who you are, how can we link arms and figure it out together? Because we have to, as an ecosystem,
Absolutely.
support each other.
Yeah, for my company, Redwood Enterprise, we work in what's known as a collaborative business model, meaning we bring to bear the talent that we need to provide our clients with a sustainable solution. Many of my collaborating partners tend to be either small businesses and some large businesses, but tend to be women-owned.
Of course.
Because that's where we find talent and a willingness to work in a collaborative.
Well, again, if you can't find your place within the corporate structure, define and
your own
create
space.
Create your own.
That's right. There's opportunity. The challenge, I think, is that people have to recognize there's persistence to it.
Got it.
Right? And that there are indeed barriers, but barriers can be seen as a barrier or a step, right? Is the glass half full? Is it half empty? Is it a brick or is it a building block? We see things in terms of building blocks.
True.
And so with the collaborative model, it allows us literally to bring senior level subject matter experts, and then with each of our collaborating partners, they bring a junior person so that we can continue to open the door and create pathways with the recognition that we have an obligation and responsibility to move this. Someone helped me get where I am, I have opportunity to help others.
And another part of it, I have a friend who started something at his company, and it's about CUBU. We need to, and not only among the young candidates, but again, talking to someone about people in transition. Just knowing that, wait a minute, that's an idea. It's like, my story is, I wanted to be an international business at 8 years old when I heard about a passport. I thought, that's fantastic. Someone's going to pay me to travel? I'll do that. And literally having these stories, having these examples, really encourage and enlighten our lives and within this society. Things are so large and out of control to a certain degree with the technology. Let's bring it back to a more personal.
Right, make it human. Make it human.
Well, the collaboration. Collaboration is us. Let's make it clear. Well, thank you so very much.
Thank
and
you.
We'll have a great time at the conference. We appreciate you coming to sunny San Jose.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carl Davis Jr., and I'm the president of the Silicon Valley Black Chamber of Commerce. And I'm happy to be here at the Women in Technology Summit here. This is the 25th anniversary. Mr. David Leighton and his group has been doing this for 30 years, but they've done it in Silicon Valley for 25, and I'm happy to be one of their guests today. We think that this is going to be a springboard for young African American women to come and get connected to really power brokers, powerful women in technology. That's how we're going to get our kids connected to have a better career in technology.
All right, did you want to say your website and stuff?
You want me to?
Yeah, so go ahead, continue.
Okay. For those who want to connect with us, you can go to blackchamber.com. That's blackchamber.com, or you can call 408-288-8806.
My name is Karen Paris, and I'm here at the W.I.T.I conference, and I'm having a very good time.
Hi, I'm Annalise, and I'm here at the W.I.T.I conference, and this is a really good experience for me.
I'm Sarah Campbell. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm on the board there of the W.I.T.I Network, and I work at Magellan Health.
Hi, my name is Mimi Shalash. I'm on the board as well for the Columbus Network. I'm part of the sponsorships and alliance teams, and I'm on the analytics team at AWH.
I'm Kate Pilato. I work with T-Mobile Engineering and Operations in upstate New York.
Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline Ackerman, and I'm with Volkswagen Group of America. We're here today for Women Technology to bring awareness to women in the industry and figure out how we can incorporate women, men together, and how to kind of have this synergy together to figure out how we can actually work our way up and figure out how to go past our obstacles along the way.
Hi, my name is Lekha Pandey and I work for Volkswagen Group of America. In my view, what I've seen at my company is that women are very few. It's a very male-dominated industry, so I want to help women grow more in the automobile industry, and so I'm here to see and to inspire myself and to get some tips and ideas on how women have grown in their fields respectively, and try to help women in my field too. Thank you.
Well, I am Jackie Welch, and I'm excited to be here today with my daughter Sydney, who is a rising junior at San Francisco State University. And upon my completion of a 28-year career in corporate, I am now a certified coach, trainer, and facilitator. I think that today is all about paying it forward for the next generation. So I'm really excited about being able to share this day of technology with my daughter so that she can know exactly what is expected in corporate America, as well as how to stay prepared for the future.
I'm excited to be here, excited to learn with these wonderful women around me and what they've learned and encountered in corporate America, and most of all what I can do to apply that for myself in the future. Thank you.